Okay, hello. We are going to go ahead and identify the unique items, or really identify the duplicate items in this list, and then we'll be able to delete them, and then we'll be left with only unique items. In this case here, we have the SKU that we want to have unique, and so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by inserting a temporary column between, or next to the column that we want to have unique. Technically doesn't matter, but just from some simplicity's sake, I'm going to insert it right there. And I'm also going to go ahead and make this bigger because there's a lot here to look at. So they are nice and big. Now it's easy to see. Okay, this is a temporary column. Doesn't really matter what's here. From a heading, we're going to leave that alone. So the first row is always going to be a unique item. We're going to base this off of the item is unique up above. So there's four, there's no other fours above it, therefore it's unique. So we'll just go ahead and we'll make an unique. Unique. I can't spell, that's okay. It doesn't matter if it's the right size, we'll go ahead and make it bigger. So from here on down, we're going to check to see if this item, if this SKU here is in the list up above. If it is, then it's not unique. If it's not, then it is. And we'll just do that for the rest of these. So we're going to use the VLOOKUP to do this. Certainly there's a myriad of ways to do it, but we're going to use VLOOKUP. So we're going to start with VLOOKUP. And the first field in the VLOOKUP is the key, the lookup value. And in this case, we're looking up our current value of the row we're on, which is going to be A3 in this example. And then we want to know what is it that we want to do the full search on. And we want to do it on all of the items above, all of these fields above. So we need to have our A2, and we're going to go on to A2 because we don't want to compare it to what it's currently on because obviously it's going to match the row it's on right now. Now there is a problem with this because as we copy down, our top row isn't going to stay our top row. We're going to use the $ to freeze the 2 in the A2 to start with. So we'll always start with the top row. And then by keeping the A2, doesn't matter if it's capital or not, A2 here, when we copy down, and we'll see this in a little bit, this A2 here is going to change as we copy down. So when we copy it into A4, it's going to be $2 to A3, and so on. The copy function will handle that for us. Next, we say, what do we want to return? If we happen to find it, what do we want to return? Since we're really just trying to say, do you exist? And we only have one column in the range anyway, this is always going to be a 1. And then finally, we want to do exact matches. So we're going to use the phrase false here. That's all we need here. And this is going to return one of two things. If it finds a match, it's going to return the match. If it does not, it's going to return pound and /A. In this case here, to no surprise, because we have a 4 right up above here, it returns 4. Now, the next thing we do is we take this here and we copy it down. And there's a few different ways you can do this, but I'm just going to copy it this way and hit enter. And now you can see with this example, the items that are unique, or at least the first in their list, and the ones that are duplicated from items that are above. For example, NA here, so there's no 8 above it. Here there's a 4, there's a 4 above it. Here there's a 5, no 5 above it. But if we come down to this 5 here, it says, oh, well, there's a 5 above me. Now, if we take a look here in the up at the formula, and I'll actually bring it here. Oops, wrong button. We'll go ahead and bring it here. There we go. We'll go ahead and bring that here. Wrong key. And you'll see now that this A2 has not changed, even though we've copied this function down. So we're checking everything from the top down to this A8, which has changed as we've copied it down. And we are looking for the field that's right next to us in this row, in this case A9. So that's why that $2, the $ here next to the 2 is important, so that as we continue to go down, oops, let's not do that. As we continue to go down here, we're checking from the top and including more and more. If we look here, we got to A12, but again, still starting at A2. That is how you identify the uniques. And then if you want to delete all the duplicates, you can simply select the whole thing. You can go up into filter. And again, there's many ways to do this. I would go ahead and do this. Now we know the unique one because we just labeled it that way. We want to keep the NA. We want to keep everything else we can leave. And now we can go ahead and select down all of these that are showing, we know these are all duplicates. So now we go ahead and delete. We got to do it correctly in order to do that. That was silly. So we go down here and learn how to use a keyboard. It doesn't really matter if we do extra lines or not, if we delete them or not, because since they're blank rows, in this case, it may matter in your instance. We delete those, and now we go ahead and clear the filter, and now all we have are the unique rows. They're not in order, but that's okay. The idea here was to get them unique. If you want them in a order that you want, then go ahead and delete and sort them accordingly. Lastly, this was just a temporary column. We're going to go ahead and delete the column, and now we're done. Now we remove the filter because that was annoying, and now we're done. That is one way to identify and then get rid of any multiple occurrences, any duplicates of a column's value in the rows, and I hope that's helpful.